Welcome back to a new episode of On the Block with your host, Nimi81, and co-host, KM1997. Um, I know tonight is a pretty hectic night with the election and everything, but I decided just to take a break from that, just to talk about the past few days of ZBB, in which we both claimed that the game has officially got interesting. Do you still feel it's interesting, Kenny?
Yeah, I do. I think with Electra missing the deadline by a few minutes, I think that added to the excitement of the season pretty much because she almost put off a pretty big move, but she failed to do that because she didn't vote. So I think that did help it.
When we left off, we informed or we were talking about the day 3 twist in which everyone had to save 2 duos, and that resulted in 9 people being nominated. The results of that eviction actually surprised me because the people who were evicted with 29% of the votes were Nikki Bella and Lucas Rose. Was that shocking to you, Kenny?
No, that wasn't. I expected. I knew they would be one of the duos receiving the highest amount of votes. I kind of expected that to happen.
You did, but you did express that you felt it was going to be Ultimate and Hobo.
Yeah, I did. I thought it would be them, but I'm not surprised that Nick and Lucas were evicted.
In which they did receive 25% of the votes, so they were the second receiver. I did not see them going. I felt like they were invisible a little bit, and we didn't see a lot from them. But I didn't see a reason for people to evict them this early. I felt like because they were invisible, no one was going to be like, "Oh yeah, we need to get them out." Which is interesting because I think you did say that the silent voters, they just vote and they don't tell you that they're voting for you, and that's when it's like 9 people nominated. That's kind of shocking. You agree?
Yeah. How many house votes did they get?
4.
Nikki and Lucas. How many house votes did they
And
get?
the trend is keep going on, in which the person who received the most house votes still stayed, with Puffs and Bar receiving 5, and Nikki Bella and Lucas and Hobo and Ultimate both receiving 4 votes. Were you surprised by any of the other percentages of the 9 nominees?
No, because a lot of people said they were evicting Puffs and Bar for whatever reason. So I did expect them to be that high. I thought Aiden and Vivi Swag would get more, to be honest. And same with Holly and Vixen, but they got 2.5% and 4%. So that was pretty surprising.
So it really wasn't really a big loss with Nikki and Lucas, was it?
In my opinion, though, they weren't really giving the public anything.
Moving forward to what Aiden described as a pussy move, day 4 nominations. It came back to only 2 people being nominated, and once again, in my opinion, people sheep. Aiden and BB Swag was nominated with 11 votes, while Puffs and Bai were nominated with 10 votes. What do you see from those nominations?
I don't like that it was such a wide margin again, but they did flip on the duo that was controlling the first 2 nominations. So I did like that, but I didn't like how wide of a margin it was.
I don't see why people vote that much in groups of in because that means 11 duos voted for Aiden BB Swag. What did they do to deserve 11 duos to vote for them unless it's like, okay, I get if 4 duos did it, but then what about the other 7? Are they just voting them because other people are voting them?
I think a few did because I think a few did it because not 7. I think less than 7, like 1 or 2 probably did it because they couldn't really do anything about it, so they just decided to go with the house, which is not something that I like. But oh well, people do what they got to do.
Agreed. I'm trying to find Aiden's blog in which he made his opinion about the nominations. Did you read that blog?
No,
About Aiden calling Niklaus and Brian H., who apparently I have not seen them getting any votes for nomination, but apparently they are hated in these past days. Not talking about today, of course, but are they controlling something on the down low?
I'm not really sure. According to Aiden, they're like rats and whatnot, so maybe that's helping them. But that is, some people do play that way, and some people can be effective playing that way. But I don't know if that's true or not. That's just from what Aiden has said in his blogs.
Oh, okay. Apparently, Niklaus and Brian H. didn't own up to a nom set in which they wanted to nominate Purdue and Peter and Bailey and Magic. And they blamed it on Aiden. Was that smart? I mean, you can.
It depends. You can go.
Apparently, they leaked the screenshot of Aiden agreeing to the plan, but making it. I'm guessing it seems like Aiden said it. Was that smart of them to do?
I mean, if it saved them and helped get Aiden up, then it was obviously smart for them to do that. Is that like a way I think people should play? No, because that's kind of scummy and whatnot. But people do what they got to do, I guess.
I mean, is smart. They're trying to step up from it, but can you support yourself? Don't make a move if you can't support it, right? Because if we're going to move on to Day 5's nominations, they couldn't support themselves. But before we do move on to Day 5's nominations, we have to talk still about the nom set as it is. Did you like the nom set? I mean, I didn't like how it was all sheeps in a sense that it was still a wide margin of people voting for them. But did you like it as in the 2 duels that went up? Or do you
I said I did because according to everyone else in the game that Puffs and Ba, they were controlling the game up until the save for saves. So yeah, I did like see the house flip, but it seemed like the entire house flipped.
And why was Aiden and BB Swag the ones targeted?
I think they were seen as allies with Puffs and Ba, which is a fair guess, I guess.
And if I'm correct, they were in the friend group, right?
Oh yeah.
So because of this nominations, is it safe to say the friend group is over?
It does look that way. It does appear to be that way.
And now everyone is either playing their own game or they're playing someone else's game.
I think half the cast is playing someone else's game from my perspective. I think as far as the whole Johnny and Noah versus Bailey and Electra, like I think everyone else in the game is kind of playing off of that. It was kind of like with the Avalon thing and how people decided to play the middle.
If you were on the Avalon side or if you're on Kenny's side.
Yeah, and it's like they're getting played by the rest of the house probably, and the house is just playing off of that.
The way that stands is that it's obvious one side will prosper than the other, and one side will get taken out one by one.
No, people flip back and forth, so it might not end up being that
Well,
way.
true, but these people who supported Avalon still went one by one. New Kid on the Block, Aether, The Breeze, they went one by one. While people who still was on your side made it very far.
There, it was just me, P. Jordan, and Kiki. They're like, uh,
In a way,
DJ.
Tommy and Aether were kind of
That is
supporting.
true. I mean, Aether did screw me over, but we're not talking about that season. I'm talking about this season.
But I mean, it's just in a whole, if you're going to play like that, will one side get screwed over if you're supporting Johnny and Noah or Electra and Bailey?
Eventually, but based off these nominations, had Bailey voted, it seems like both sides would have kind of had a victory in some way because it would have been Nicholas and Brian, Johnny and Noah, and Peter and P.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're still moving forward with the day 4 thing. Who did you think was going to go home? Puffs or Bai or Aiden and BB Swag?
Even though Aiden and BB Swag only got 2.5% to buy and Puffs 22% the day before, I would have thought Aiden and BB Swag because at the first couple of Aiden vlogs, it seemed like he wasn't really trying with his plea vlogs. Then he actually made one, so I thought that they would probably end up being the ones to go.
You thought Aiden and BB Swag?
Yeah, I thought they would have been the ones to go.
I really I didn't even get to vote yet. I was going to vote this morning.
Yeah, I didn't vote either.
I didn't really have an opinion on who would go. Personally, I didn't want either one to go. But before I could even get to vote, I got interrupted on the talk page by a blog that says ZBB 12 update, in which apparently Puffs and Bai removed themselves from the game. Bai had posted a blog about it. I did not read it. I think I read it, but I don't remember what was said. Did you read it?
It seemed like he was just saying he was gonna have Noah's back, and like I guess something happened in real life with Noah, pretty much. So I guess I didn't read much of it. I read it when I first woke up this morning, so I don't really remember it.
It kind of sucks though because, I mean, it does seem like a weak move in a sense that you were nominated and you decided to leave the game before the day on nominations were going to be revealed. When I felt like, when I seen that, I was like, they pussied out and they wanted to just save their guilt by evicting themselves and not being evicted by Zwooper Public. Did you feel that?
It was, I think something happened in real life with Puffs, though. So I don't think they had gave up. I just think something actually happened in real life. I'm not sure that is kind of what I got from Aiden's vlog and Puff and Bai's vlog, but I'm not. But I think that's what happened.
Yeah, Puffs has not commented.
Yeah, I know. I don't think they quit because they were nominated.
Yeah, Puffs has not commented or come online. So I don't know what is with that, but because that was canceled, the whole eviction was canceled and Aiden and BB Swag were saved. Do you feel like is that like kind of a new light for them? Because they could have been possibly evicted.
I think it could be, but they did kind of vote in minority with kind of voted in minority with
You can come back to minority though.
I know it's like one of their noms went up and the other one didn't, so it was like they kind of did or they kind of didn't at the same time. So I think if they can position themselves well and quit with the revenge on Johnny and Nicholas, then I guess they should be able to do well from here on out.
Before nominations were put out, ZBB came forth with a twist. in which Zwooper can get involved. And it was kind of a twist that everybody was kind of asking what happened when it was 12 duos, but we said no, it's not going to happen if it's 16, in the sense that we thought what the duo split up. But they didn't technically split up and more so swapped. Did you think that was a smart idea? Not spoiling who got swapped yet, but did you think that twist was smart?
If it was for a round, then I guess I'd like it. But if it's for the rest of the game, then I'm not that big of a fan of it because you sign up to play with a certain person, you just get thrown to the wolves playing with someone else. But I have more on this on what actually happened when we get to that, though.
Yeah, but like to further explain it, if you didn't see the twist and how that worked, was you were to send in 4 duos, and of who you wanted to see swap duos. And only 2 duos would swap, but if that duo was nominated that you voted for, the next one would get that vote, and so forth like that. And whichever 2 duos got the most votes would have been the one swapped. I think there was a lot of talk about who should get swapped and not. At first, my idea was you should swap the people who not really having the best public game. If you don't have the best public game, you possibly don't have the best strategic game. I mean, and
That's not. I don't think that's true at all. I think the public.
But
I think the public. The public is off a lot with what they're assuming is actually happening in the game. But I don't think if you don't anybody can get public support. You just have to make the right kind of blogs that pleases the public. But sometimes people don't post because they don't want to ruin their inside game, which is kind of smart, but at the same time, it's dumb for whenever you go up because then you're gone, most likely.
agreed. I did make a post. I did make a post on this blog though that caught heat with one of the house guests, Rice Swimmer, in which I said to break up Noah and Johnny and see how they can do on their own. Where do you stand on that statement? Do you feel they should have got broken up to see if they can still control the game like they are on their own?
I don't think they should have because it kind of gives them more power because they're not really going to go against each other. So I don't think they should have been broken up. They should have just stayed together.
That's the power of a duo. They might not go against each other, but maybe their duo might. And maybe, but I think there's a flaw in that if you do think of it.
But with the duo,
work together.
Yeah, with the people that they switched, like I don't see Alvaro going against Nady either. So I think that pretty much just they pretty much made them allies joined at the hip. That's pretty much what I got from it.
And when we get there, we're almost there. Noah, as he gave me a little info into his decision making of who the duo that he chose and why. And he was going to come on air, but he didn't want to do it alone. He wanted to do it with Johnny, and Johnny didn't have time to. So I would just read what Noah told me. But going towards day 5 nominations, we got 3 nominees. And I think this really did spice up the game, this nominations, and it really did make me mad in the sense that there was a perfect plan and non-play going to happen, and it failed because someone missed the vote. Nick Klaus and Brian H. were nominated with 6 votes. Peter, Campbell, and Purdue were nominated with 5. And Electra and Magic were auto-nominated with 4 because they didn't vote. If they had voted, Nick Klaus and Brian would have had 7, and Peter and Purdue, Johnny, and Noah would have been tied for 5. So, and you already said it, is either Johnny and Noah versus Electra and Magic. So there was a very high chance Johnny and Noah were going to get nominated. But Electra and Magic forgot to vote, getting themselves nominated. That kind of was like, what? Why would you not vote?
It was a mistake, though, so I don't think they should be penalized for it as much as
How
people like to do that, though, because I think with the whole them been handing flipping the house on Puffs and By, I think they've done enough to. I think I save them. Like I'm not gonna. I think I've made my vote clear. I save them. I think they
you
played extremely well up to this point, and I don't think being 3 minutes late should just kill their game. Because I don't think I've ever evicted someone who missed a vote. I didn't evict Rob Goddess in ZBB 9. I'm not sure if I evicted Trinity in ZBB 10. I'm not sure, but huh?
I'm petty. I evicted them, and I mean, it's not like I want them to go because they actually are playing a good game. But I evicted them because they had a perfect plan in their hand. They were speaking about how they make big moves and they're the big game players of the game and all. But then they miss a vote that could have been actually another big move.
But
That's a bad move on their part.
you played the game. You know how it can get down. You know to the
Oh
well.
no, but you have two
Well,
chances to change. Block.
actually, when I was going up for six, like P Jordan and I, we woke up at like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, trying to flip things, and we went down to the last minute to send in noms, and so I like they knew they were in trouble, and they wanted to make sure everything was going the way they wanted it to go. So I'm not gonna hold it against them that they
Well,
missed
then
the.
I have a different experience because when I knew I was in danger, I've always had a backup plan to save myself, and I send that plan in. And then if something changes, then I will change it with my second change. Because you do have two chances to nominate. That's they give you two chances. So don't just wait till the last minute to vote because then
But they did nominate though. Electra just didn't agree to it in time. They did nominate. Electra just didn't agree to it in time.
but they didn't send it in to officially nominate.
It was sent in. They nominated. They just have to agree, and Electra didn't agree in time. That's pretty much all that happened.
And she agreed 3 minutes late.
Yeah, 3 minutes late, she agreed.
And that got her not. Also, it's Electra's fault they're nominated. And I do feel that, and I do feel bad for Magic, but isn't that also something that goes with duos? Your game can be ended because of your duo member.
I just think that's a very like, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Like maybe that's just me, but I just don't think missing a like confirming your nom set is that big of a deal. But everybody's different.
What about the other two nominees, Nick Klaus and Brian, who apparently were making a big move on trying to turn everyone against Aiden and Evie Swag, and then Peter and Pidu, the people that you are rooting for?
What did you say?
You didn't hear nothing I just said?
No, not a lot of it. But what did you say?
Your reactions on the other two nominees.
Oh, I have nothing really against any of them. I think they've all played pretty well thus far. If Nicholas and Brian are being rats, then it's obviously helping them up to this point. But yeah, I'm saving Pidu and Peter as well because Pidu pretty much told me he was a big reason in the getting by and Puffs and Aiden and Swag up.
But that's claim. You can easily
Well,
claim that, like me, you said I claimed a lot of stuff, but then that was not reality. So how do you know it's not a distorted view from Purdue? And maybe he was not the one who got puffed
I'm
somebody.
a I'm a member of the well, he said that he was going they were trying to get him up and if you read his blog, he said they wanted Alvaro and Rob Goddess up. They did that. They wanted Cupcake and Hobo Tree up. They did that. Then they went after Peter and Pidu and it just
If
didn't
you
happen.
remember, people voted in groups, like a lot of people. So you can easily say, oh, yeah, they did that too because they voted for them too. You know? Because I don't know how many votes they went up by, but they went up by a lot of votes. So you can
Who?
easily say too that whoever voted for them, who's not like I don't know if
Okay.
Holly Dixon voted for them.
I spoke with Petey like this night, so like he told me what was happening pretty much. And as like you said, the distorted view thing, okay, but the public believe you. If someone wants to claim it, they should come out and claim it like somebody last season should have. If somebody wants to claim this move, they should come out and claim the move. And Peter and Peters, they didn't take all the credit for it like you kind of did, but they they did give credit to Bailey and Magic
I
as
gave
well.
credit to Avalon.
You gave credit to Avalon for an F6 nomination when she got 13th. Okay.
Um, yeah, it seems right. I don't. It seems I think Peter and Purdue will be safe. I think it is.
I'm not sure. I think all three are in trouble. Actually, I think it's gonna be pretty close.
I think it is pretty close. I think right now Electra and Magic may be the ones going because people are petty and saying that they missed the vote that could have made a move. But if people who like you who are overlooking that might possibly evict Niklaus and Brian. Would Niklaus and Brian leaving affect game?
I think either one of them leaving is gonna affect the game. Like I said, I think they all like someone who I would. I think all three of these teams have played well, and that's why I said it's kind of like the big dogs going after each other and letting the people that are playing in the background, they're just staying back and letting other people do the dirty work, which is not a terrible way to play, but don't get too caught up in playing like that because then you're gonna end up getting nominated and evicted because the public hasn't seen much of you.
Speaking of people in the background, this twist actually, I think, brought out the people in the background, in my opinion, or to whom Zwooper.
Who was in the background from the people that suffered from this twist?
Yeah, I'm about to tell you right now. Receiving only 3% of the votes to swap duos was Kessie and Charlie. Receiving 5% was Vin and Amy. Receiving 6 was Hobo and Ultimate, Niklaus and Brian, and receiving 7 Holly and Vixen. Those 5 names, not necessarily Niklaus and Brian, but the other 4 are people, in my opinion, is in the background. They haven't really made blogs saying they came up with this and they came up with that. Hobo and Ultimate are apparently the underdogs of the season. Kessie and Charlie, Holly and Vixen, Vin and Amy, they are very silent about their game. So are they the 4 in the background? Well, everybody else, and you can say Big Girl for Show and Cray Cray are also in the background.
Yeah, I think they are too.
So I mean,
but I think it's pretty obvious where their loyalties lie. I could be wrong, but I think a lot of people may feel where their loyalties lie.
They're sheep. Big Girl for Show and Cray Cray.
No, I'm not saying they're sheep. I'm just saying they're loyal to a certain side more than another. That's just from my perspective, but and
that's possibly true. That's possible. I mean, you're obviously going to be loyal to one side.
Being loyal isn't being a sheep. Being a sheep is just being blind led to the slaughter.
If you don't have a say and you're just doing what the other person wants, it's not a sheeping. But if you do have a say, then it's not a sheeping. It's just
if you are blindly getting led to the slaughter, then you are a sheep, which I do think a few of them are a particular duo who I think they're just sheeping their way through the game right now. I'm not going to name any names.
You should.
But I'm not going to.
The 3 people actually who the 4, because there were 4. The 4 people who received the most votes were Johnny and Noah, Bailey and Ben, Alvaro and Natty, and Aiden and BB Flag. The 2, though, because Electra and Magic were nominated, they were going to be swapped. But they didn't vote. And so that got them nominated. And so it became Johnny and Noah switching with Alvaro and Natty. How did you feel about that?
I think if it was pretty much anyone else, then it would be more of a problem for them. But I don't really see this being a problem for them because I think they're just gonna, I don't see Alvaro. Hello?
Say that again.
I don't see Alvaro going against Nady, and I don't see Johnny going against Noah.
Yeah, it's
So
cool.
I think they pretty much got an extra number, both of them. Now they weren't together, which is fair. But as I said, I don't see the two because they're both of them are good friends with their duo. So I just don't see it happening. I don't see
Yeah.
them going against each
Um,
other.
the twist with the duo is that the next round they are nominating 3 duos, and the new 2 swap duos are safe. So was it? I mean, that was a good twist.
I
But
don't like the fact that it was that it's permanent. I think it should be just for a few rounds. I don't think it should be a permanent thing, or maybe even just one round.
um, would you also come back to Electro and Magic? If they would have nominated, they would have swapped, and they would have been safe.
But maybe this who they would have swapped with if they would have
They would
nominated
have
with.
swapped with Johnny. Oh
No,
no,
Johnny would have went up, so it would have been Alvaro and Nady.
yeah, it would have been Alvaro and 80.
Then the same thing applies to them because I don't think they will turn on each other either. So I don't think much really is going to change from this.
The other thing with determining the
But one side did gain kind of a number because Alvaro and Nady, I do believe they were kind of in the middle, but now they're going to have to pretty much vote with Johnny and Noah because they're duos now.
Well, let's see. Yeah. With the deciding the duos, the first person out of the 4 to choose would have decided who the duos were, and Noah let me know, Y Swimmer, that while this blog came out, him and Johnny, they were on call. Johnny wanted to work with Alvaro. He was asking Noah if he can have Alvaro. Apparently, Noah didn't want Johnny to have Alvaro, and Noah chose Alvaro for himself. How do you feel about that for a reason? And I asked him why, but he said, I have to look that up. Why do you think he did that?
Well, I did read something where he said they played together before, so I guess that has something to do with it. And I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me, but this whole twist doesn't make much sense. That's why it's such a permanent thing.
I think it does. I think it means that you have to adapt now. You have to try and do something new. I mean, there's not much twist you can do with their duos.
But I think they were like rivals in their past games, so I don't know why you would want to work with someone you didn't really get along with in past games.
He told me he did not want to put his best friend and his ZBB rival in a duo together against me for a win, against him for a win. So I'm guessing he felt it was safer if he worked with his ZBB rival because he knows how he plays, instead of having his best friend working with him.
Okay.
I mean, I get that, but that's the new duo, Y Swimmer and Alvaro, Johnny and Natty. How do you feel about them as duos? I mean, that's an obvious alliance now. I mean, they might not like each other, but that's an alliance.
Yeah, I definitely think it is.
It is alliance. I mean, they can't pretend that they're not going to work together now, because Johnny's not going to nominate Noah, Noah's not going to nominate Johnny, and vice versa with Alvaro and Natty. But this safety for one round does give them a chance to maybe
Make some things happen.
combine their alliances that they already have.
Yes.
Overall, though, past 2 days, good.
Yeah, I think so.
I think this episode actually was fast. One person is asking me if he wants to join in, so I'm just gonna let him come.
Who?
Vladimir. He wants to talk, so I'm gonna give him a voice. But anything expecting forward? Who's the 3 duos that you think will be nominated soon?
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a renom of Peter and or Baby Magic. I could see maybe even Big Bro and Cray Cray, and I think Holly and Vixen they're about to go up soon.
Where does Kezzy and Charlie stand? Because I forgot they were playing until I looked at the blog just now. It was like, oh, Kelly and Charlie got 3%. Where
I base everything what I see off of the blogs, and according to P2's, they were with P2 with the whole getting Johnny and Brian and Nicholas up.
say it again? I'm sorry.
I base a lot of pretty much I base a lot of this stuff off of what I read off of the blogs, because that's all we really have. And according to P2's, Kezzy and Charlie were with P2 and Bailey and Aiden with nominating Johnny and Nicholas. So I think they're with P2, or they were. Maybe they're one of the teams in the middle trying to flip back and forth.
All right. Joining us now is Vladimir, who asked to come guest. Ben, what is your opinions on the season so far?
My opinion is that it's very boring and predictable.
Say it again. Fix your mic.
It's very boring and predictable.
Why is it boring?
I don't know. It's just like the same thing like every time. There's like a friend group, but I'm happy it's being kind of broken up now at the beginning. And then they just like run things for a couple rounds, and then it's boring, and then like halfway through it starts getting better. So it's on the rise right now. I feel, it's getting up there.
Duo that you like.
Huh? Say it again.
Is there a duo that you like?
A duo I like a lot of duos. I like Holly and Vixen. Charlie and Kezzy are playing good, even though they're kind of quiet, who else? Aiden and BB Swag. I'm on the fence about them, a little bit on and off. Anyone else? I think that's it.
Why Holly and Vixen?
Holly and Vixen, well, I like both of them beforehand, and their blogs are pretty entertaining. Like, even though they're not giving a lot of info to us, like, I'm still entertained by them more than most of the other people. Say that again?
People who don't give info, that's nothing to root against, is it?
No, exactly.
I mean, root for, not root against, root for.
Root
I don't
for.
hear much from Holly or Vixen or Charlie and Kezzy.
Well, I'm here more to be entertained than to be, like, all strategic.
You agree with that, Kenny? You're more for entertainment than strategy?
No, I'm all for strategy, but you can't really see you don't really know much of what's going on. That's why I like Bailey and Magic and Peter and PG so far.
Oh yeah, I like Peter too.
And even Johnny and Noah with the whole 7 saves thing that won me over. So yeah.
Y'all just loving y'all Johnnies and Petos, and I'm over here hating them. I'm not even having a favorite duo. I just like the gameplay that's going on right now. I admire big moves over entertainment, and I know that's coming from me, but
both what I said before, like no, you go.
Wait, what you said, Ben?
Oh, what I was saying before, like if the strategy is entertaining, then I like it. But if it's just like boring, then I get bored, It just has to be entertaining for me to like you too.
And so who's the entertaining?
Who's entertaining? Peter and Purdue are definitely entertaining. Bailey and Magic.
I don't see
Holly
any
and Vixen.
blocks.
You don't see any?
No. Kenny, do you?
See entertaining people?
Yeah.
Bailey and Magic.
Definitely.
Yeah, them.
Puffs and Bauer. I actually found Aiden, but he hasn't leaked any addresses yet, which is I kind of want to see that, but I guess not.
Did he almost leak yours?
Didn't he what?
He almost leaked yours, apparently.
He leaked like an address where I lived, like near where I lived, like in the same town. Like it was the zip code and everything that I used. But what was I about to say? How is that funny? Like
I don't know.
he used the zip code. Oh, and there's like so many zip codes in Vero Beach that you can use, and you use the one that I actually lived in. But lost my train of thought. The Oakmont dropping to you. Like I thought that was pretty funny because that's actually part of one of their addresses. So,
Ben, what is your thoughts on Bailey's fail today?
It was really saddening because she was doing so good, but I'm still Team Bailey and Magic all the way. I'm riding on that train till it falls off the tracks and explodes.
So you're saving them.
Yes, definitely.
Who are you evicting?
I am evicting Nicholas and Brian.
Reason for it?
What?
Is there a reason for it? Or you just...
Is there a reason? Yes. It amazes me how short some of the memory spans are in here, because Brian here called my very good friend Aiden the N-word. So a vote for Brian is a vote for a bigot, and anyone that aligns himself with the racist and the misogynist, you deserve to go home.
He wrote this whole speech to me. Apparently Chima said that. I don't know. But you're evicting them because of Brian.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to talk about, Ben, before we end?
I'm good.
Well, today, I think this is the shortest one we've had. Thank you for joining and watching, if you did.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Wasn't talking to you, I was talking to the viewers.
Oh. I'm a viewer, kind of. I watched it.
But, yeah, I'm actually very interested to see how this fiction goes. I feel Bailey and Magic will go. Some of you, I think, feel otherwise because you don't want them to go. But we'll see how that plays out. We will be back on day... Oh, what day are we right now?
it's like 4 or 5.
4.
I don't know what it is. It's day...
So many people are gone. It might as well be day 6.
So we will be back on day 7, which we will talk about day 5's eviction and day 6's nomination and eviction with day 7's nomination. And if there's any twist in between these 2 days, we will also discuss it. And if Ben has anything else he wants to say, he can also join in on that show. But for now, good night, and hopefully Hillary can win.